For so long, we've been here, we've been trying.
Hi there, and welcome to another exciting edition of the Fundicative Springboard Hangout. The Springboard Hangout, as you know, is your program where we have fun and learn about issues that are relevant to us. My name is Comfort Okran. Today, we are continuing our series on adding value to yourself. And today's program, we are talking about a very, very important topic: how you can add value to your social capital. What is that? Well, you know, in Ghana, sometimes you talk about whom you know. So we'll see, is it really important? And most importantly, how can we build it if it is important? We're going for a short break. When we return, we get into the show. Today, I have with us the one and only Mr. Jesse Agyepong. He is such a phenomenal marketing professional. You will learn so much and even much more than you expected. Don't go anywhere. Call a friend. Let him take a part, because today be today. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Here we go. I am saved through. You give me victory. You give me victory. I feel so many times. You never gave up on me. Now looking back, I can boldly say, oh, hallelujah. Somebody lift your voice and confess it. No, it's by my grace. Yes, soon to me. Yeah. Come on now, everybody. So the came this far. Oh, no more, come on, yo, sebeche. Yes, soon do nuti. Yes, soon do nuti. Yeah. You want to confess it one more time? Are you ready? One more time, everybody. See, here I am. Say, I am. Yes, Lord. Through. You give me victory. Hallelujah.
Welcome back. And you know, as I said, we are looking at how to increase your social capital, or building your social capital. Jesse, welcome to the Springboard Hangout.
Thank you so much. It's exciting to be here. It's a lovely place. I love the studio. It's a very amazing place to be, and thank you very much for having me. I've been following the program.
Thank you, Jesse, for following it, and to give the feedback that sometimes you do share with us as well. So, Jesse, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. So, Jesse is sometimes I describe myself as somebody who's very positively disruptive.
Positively disruptive.
I always say to people that you have to be either exceptionally good at what you do to be noticed, or you can just strip naked and walk on the streets. Either way, you'll be known. So you choose the path you want to take. So, and I can't do the second one.
You can't think about doing the second one.
I mean, like there are people who can do that, but I can't do that. So I describe myself as somebody who likes positive disruption. I also say to people that I'm an Nzima, born in Bubuashe, and that's where my life started from.
Wow.
Working my way all the way up. I would also say that I'm a brands person.
Brands person.
I like youth engagements, and I've done a couple of that. And today I find myself working in a couple of institutions, adding value as I go on. I like to have fun, as everybody. So in a nutshell, Bubuashe boy in Zema, positive disruption. I like to have fun. I like to talk brands and youth development.
We have started a series and we're continuing on adding value to yourself.
Yes.
And today we want to focus, put a lens on that aspect of social capital, or what sometimes we call in our part of the world, whom you know.
Yes.
What is whom you know?
Okay. So let me just go back to
Right.
the two words, social capital.
Yeah.
So social basically is the relationship that I have with anybody else who's not me.
Right.
So I have a relationship with you. I have a relationship with the makeup artist today, my mother, my father, anybody else I have a relationship with who's not me. Capital takes me back to production. So you might say the factors of your production,
yeah.
land, labor, capital. And I think for me, I would describe capital as anything that you equip yourself with or anything that somebody adds to you as part of your business or life. In my relationship with people who are not me, what are they adding to me? And what am I adding to myself? And what am I making of the additions in building stronger relationship? So to your point, it's really the concept of a more nuanced or polished whom you know. And I know within a Ghanaian setting, it's a very difficult conversation.
Yeah, I know.
It's a whom you know. But you see, whom you know is the reason why your Baba will call you.
Yeah.
It's the reason why somebody who needs help at midnight with money would call you. It's the reason why somebody would trust you with your child. It's the reason why somebody would believe that this job which is happening here today, I know a Jesse who can do it. So for me, social capital is really in your growth, the relationships that you're building. What have you taken away from the people? What have you given to them? How do you see them and how do they see you? And that's how I will bring the two words together, social capital.
I see. But is that social capital of any value?
Well, I think that it's probably one of the most important things that we need to pursue.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
And, the reason being this, that say you're in class, you have a particular representation you make in class. You build relationships in class. And in that relationship, I find a way of leaving a nugget in somebody's head that I'm the go-to person if you need this. I have to leave something with the person. So either I leave in the person's mind, Jesse is a persuasive speaker. Or I leave in the person's mind that Jesse is somebody who can help me financially. Or I leave in the person's mind that if you want somebody to talk to, I am here. Now, that's a bargaining chip. And from the person, I will take a different thing. So hopefully, as we grow up, maybe as you go to law school or you go to GIMPA for a marketing program, and you're growing up, everybody's adding value to themselves, and that capital increases. So at some point in time, when people are looking for people who can do one or two things for them, they can find you because that's my capital. And capital doesn't stay the same. Capital either appreciates or depreciates. So you can have a good social capital with me at the age of 18, and I know you to have like an amazing good voice.
Yeah.
That's the capital that you had. Of all the people around, you could do it. You didn't harness it, and therefore that capital lost value along the line. Somebody else was building his. So for me, it's important because for a brand manager also, it enables you to set your brand aside as you build your capital and your influence within the whole social framework itself. So I think it's super important.
You know, I really like something, I mean, what you said, you know, about how capital can appreciate or depreciate, depending on how you either add to it or do not build it. And so, whereas others have appreciated, yours is just the same.
Yes.
And it brought to mind so vividly this biblical story of David being in the desert, and then Saul saying that I want someone who knows how to play the harp.
Perfect.
And someone to take away my, because it said that Saul was troubled.
Slay my troubles away.
Troubled by some bad dreams. Let's say he had the blues.
Yes.
And he needed a jazz player to come and play some jazz to, soothe his blues. And one caught here that the person said, oh, I know this guy. He is a son of Jesse. He is well put together. He understands. He is crafted. His craft, he showed so many attitudes or capabilities of David that Saul couldn't resist and say, no, as a CEO, I want this guy on my team.
Because somebody knew him.
Because somebody
knew him.
Is it possible? As a young people, as we're going about our lives, we meet people that we may not leave so good an impression on the person, and therefore that we may have some negative impression with my left. How do we ensure, that such a situation does not occur, that we leave good impressions on people?
I agree. I coming here, I was thinking about the fact that sometimes we might equate social capital to positives. And I'm reminded of, I might not be able to quote it verbatim, but it says, don't sit in the council of the wicked.
Yeah.
But the council of the wicked is also a council.
Definitely.
And it's a council which is important for some others.
Yeah.
So for even those who decide to build social capital negatively, they can nuance themselves into that social capital of negativity. So because see, you're
saying that. So guys, what Jesse is trying to say, and I can't say it, is the fact that the armed robber service builds social capital.
It's a capital. It builds. It's a negatively nuanced capital. But when they are looking for people within that framework to do something, this one, David, this guy will go for do. That's the capital he has. But I'm not saying that you should build that. But I'm saying that there are also rules within the social strata. So maybe within my social capital, it's like a Venn diagram that I'm plotting. On one side, I have a good social capital with family and friends. They can count on me. I've got a good social capital with those in the brands marketing community. I've got a good social capital within the church. Now, in truth, what you make of it or what you do with it depends on what you need or what somebody else needs. Because the social capital is not just about you. You're not the only person in the room. That social fiber will be held together because somebody needs something or you need something. And depending on what you need, you would activate one of the blocks. Because I struggle to treat it as one big circle of needs. So the big circle of social connectivity has pockets within it. And you jump into one bucket or pocket when you need something.
I think it's also reminded me of, when we talk about social media and we talk about the various groupings in social media. And one of the classic cases is that when you go on social media, find a group that you belong to and join that particular group.
Absolutely.
So in this case, maybe whether it is face-to-face or online, you've built these capitals.
Yes.
Can they in any way open doors or close doors for you?
Ideally, they should answer a question you seek. So I want to flip the door into something you seek. So for as an example, if I pick Jesse and those that have come my way or have come their way in growing up, some have just been a guide for me. Some have influenced me financially. Some have...
Positively or negatively?
Positively. Some have given me education. So I honestly think that it depends.
Okay.
It depends largely on what you're doing. But at the end of the day, everybody has an objective. So in a typical company, the employee has an objective. The company has an objective. When the objective of the company and the employee meets, then you're managing each other by objectives, and it moves very well. So within that capital framework, if I need something within it and I access my capital or my social capital and doors don't open for you, there could be something wrong.
Wow.
I've listened to many people say, maybe you might be in the wrong circle, or maybe the circle is not ready for you, or maybe you need to look into another circle. But there could be many reasons why. But ideally, your social capital should help you answer a question. if it cannot help you answer a question, create a new one, or find a new one, or change yourself.
I would like to find out from you practically, how has your social capital opened doors for you?
Okay, so before I answer that, I just want to give you a basic example I've always given.
Okay.
So when I worked in Tigo, I was invited by the British Council to speak on customer service. So I went to
It's your go-to topic.
Yes. So I picked the banner, I put it on Facebook, and I said, hey guys, I'll be speaking at the British Council, blah, 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 blah. And engagement was low. And I was like, oh, Charlie, this is Jesse.
I get people, Charlie, where are you?
I get people, where you day? And the engagement was very low. And I spoke for 30 minutes with Kojo Yankson. The following year, I was invited again to speak on the same subject. This time round, the full 1 hour was mine. But I waited. And I waited and waited until the British Council itself posted the subject on their timelines. And I picked the content and then I trended it. And the engagement post the trend was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Now, in that moment, the equity that the British Council presented was much more super greater than what I had. And therefore, from a social influence and capital point of view, it was important that I would ride on their strength and their capital to be relevant more. So sometimes, my journey started like that. I had to use somebody's social capital to start my journey.
To build?
Yes. Because when I was starting my career, Charlie, who knew me? It was just my campus boys and my guys. And Charlie, these guys were all either ready to go to London. They just wanted to travel. And they were hustling like just me.
Yeah, yeah.
So my brother, Charles Mensah, he had a huge influence. And Charles knew everybody. I said, look, I will use this guy. So I remember Charles called Nyama. So again, this is me. I'm outside of his circle by business. But I am in his circle by family.
Yes.
And therefore, I use that family influence to say, Charlie, bruv, you need to connect me to a job. Then he went into his business social circle, capital.
Yeah.
And then said, look, Nyama, we need help. Then I was connected now into Nyama's business circle. That's how I got my first job. Now, once I got the first job, I had to do something so disruptive that I would begin to impact Nyama's circle. Yeah. Because I've got to grow the circle.
No.
So it was Nyama taking me to Father Dixon at Peace FM, and suddenly it was expanding to multimedia, Kusuchum, it was expanding bit by bit. So just leveraging on somebody's circle, somebody's equity, somebody's capital, I started building my own capital within his capital, that at some point I owned my own capital within his capital.
Yeah.
And that's how come my life started. Now, from that time onwards, I had to prove myself within every circle. That's why I said it's important that you are desperately hungry to work yourself within every social context. Because if you find yourself, and when I was in Kenafam, I used to work almost about 12, 13, 14 hours a day. It was my first time seeing Microsoft Excel. I had to understand it. I had a huge room. With lots of receipts. I had to type them. Ewaha, Biwaha. I had to try. But I had to do it. And so that opportunity allowed me to create my own space. And I expanded bit by bit by bit until where I am today. In truth, it always doesn't work. And there's an example that I can also give, that I can try and tap into a social capital. Like I go for an interview at one of the radio stations with a very popular, well-known MD who had interviewed me, who was supposed to just sign my appointment letter.
Yeah.
He made me wait all day. I came back the following day, I waited all day. The third, I waited all day.
2 days.
I couldn't even leave the reception area of multimedia, just even go and wee because I'm afraid he might pass. Having social capital doesn't mean that you get things easy.
Yeah.
You still have to fight.
With everything that you have.
Everything you have.
Everything you have.
Yes. So the capital can get through the door.
But
You have to do more than that.
Charlie, if the door opens, and when the door opens, you have no clue how to manipulate in that space. I tell you, the door will shut, and you will have nothing to do with how the person positioned you in that space.
Yes.
You know, you have really touched somebody's mind listening to this, because Jeremiah Mann says that I heard that there's good and bad social capital, referring to your earlier point.
Yes.
Says that how can I foster the right kind?
How can you foster the right kind? So, first of all, basic, they will tell us that you've got to have a plan. And you always want to have a plan, to be fair. Life's plans change all the time. A friend of mine, Jesse Agyepong, would say that everybody has a plan until they are hit and the Excel sheets will just vanish.
Yeah.
What do you want? What are you looking for? So as a brands person, I always have to align myself with brand conferences. I have to align myself with volunteerism. I may be, as growing up, MTN may have a charity event. I want to volunteer to be part of it. I want to join this institution to do this. I am part of my church, my church's brands and brands committee. And therefore, by being on a brands committee, when something is happening and I join forces with them and I work on it, somebody sees me and the person says, oh, great work.
Yeah.
I don't get paid for that.
No.
But I am hoping it opens new capital for me. Because you have to be visible. I always say this, that sometimes we are quick to think outside the box. But some people have not even survived inside the box. We don't even know how to move inside the box.
It be like the box.
Your box, you need to sit up.
You don't want to go outside the box.
Finish the box inside. So my belief is that you've got to work very hard. You've got to identify individuals who matter. You need to follow people on social media who matter. You need to read a lot about the things you intend to do. It's not going to be easy, but you've got to do it.
Right. So Anita watching on Facebook says that, so you mentioned these, the social, the spiritual, and finally, so it says that how interconnected or interlinked are these various aspects of our lives in building our social capital in terms of social, spiritual, financial, mental, etc.
So, like I said, I gave an example of the Venn diagram. So as human as I am, I'm a father. So that's like, I've got a circle within the Venn diagram for, let's call it a responsibility circle.
Yeah.
Ensure that your kids go to school, blah, blah, blah. But by taking them to school also, you get to meet other parents. Interact with them. That's just one line of it. Then you've got your own boys. What do you do with that? Then you've got your own faith, because I'm also a person of faith. And therefore, how do I tap myself into the faith? Now, my faith is not just a faith in the world. There are others who also have faith which is different from mine. How do I pipe myself into that? Again, if you come to somebody like me, I'm also playing a good role within entertainment circle. I'm serving on some committees within some of the entertainment organizations. So how do I access that? Now, how does all of this come together? Planning, timing.
Planning,
timing, commitment. Because you see, and the thing is that sometimes you also need to choose your battles very well. If the circles in which you are contiguous, you're fine. Because in that case, it connects, it's easy, you can move around.
Yeah.
But if your circles are very scattered,
they go from football to the food court.
It will be hectic. I know you might not like this example. If you're a good criminal and you're a wonderful father and you're a great person at church, one will bust. One will bust one day. You're sunk. So the better the connectivity, the greater it is for your mind also.
Yes. Jesse, Keswa says you're looking really, really nice. And I check you out too. It's true.
Thank
you. Does appearance facilitate building your social capital?
Absolutely. I'm getting used to new urban trends. New urban trends where people might wear like some flip-flops and wear some big T-shirts and things like that. And these are not things that I might identify with per se. But depending on the circle in which you are and what you are influencing, you got to look the part. And therefore, appearance is super important. If you want to be a brands person within a very formalized structure, you need to look in a particular way. If you want to be a brands person within a very informal structure, easy-going Google type of environment, you can't look like me. You need to look very easy-going, progressive, a little bit easier, young people moving left and right. So ultimately, you need to look the part to represent the institution or the area you want to play. You cannot look like a misfit.
Wouldn't that be positively disruptive in your space?
Agreed. See, you need practicing that is very difficult at times. And I'll give you an example. I can do some things because I can back it up. And there are people watching us who can do some things because they can back it up. But if you can't back it up, start slow.
Start slow.
Fit in and then break it. See, there are those who would enter an institution and are not afraid to test the institution.
Yeah.
Like if I ever get a job in the bank, let's say I'm working at Bank of Ghana. I might go to work one day with some nice black trainers with some decent trousers and a good jacket and a tie. And they might say, oh, that doesn't look like it's in the manual. But I could do that. And then somebody might say, oh, you don't have to do that. So, okay, cool, I won't do that again. Then maybe like 3 months down the line, I might rock it again. So there are things that you can do, but be mindful of
the
where you are
that you are in.
And whether you can back it up yourself. Yes.
Right. We have to go for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue this very, very insightful conversation. Don't go anywhere. Call someone to play a role.
Get me York's rent-a-car. I need a car in 15 minutes. Hi, I'm Jake Morris, and I travel globally. But when I'm in Ghana, York's Rent-A-Car is my reliable choice for safety and comfort on the road. York's Rent-A-Car provides comprehensive logistics services to mainly blue-chip companies as well as individual clients.
At a time we needed a car rental service, and York's fitted in very well to our standards.
Their services is top-notch. Drivers are on time.
It was beautiful to see them behind the wheels. And anytime they pick up a guest, the guests were very, very happy.
Already? Yes. Excellent. York's Rent-A-Car provides services and expertise that include meet and greet services at the airport, car rental, driver personal outsourcing, and vehicle detailing.
What's the problem? It's you. I told you. York's Rent-A-Car delivers world-class service to its customers, having their highest safety and comfort in mind. So watch him. Go over open for him.
York's Rent-A-Car runs 24/7 operations where customers can make car reservations and inquiries of our services online and also call our hotline.
Welcome back. We are on the Springboard Hangouts, and today we are hanging out with Jesse Agyepong, looking at building our social capital because we want to add value to our lives. Jesse, we have therefore, in our previous conversation or conversation that we just went on the break, before we established the fact that your social capital is very important.
Yes.
You established the fact too that you can get into a group, a particular milieu, and then grow yourself in there. We looked at certain examples which you give so well. So here we are. My listeners are wondering. One of the things that I had one person asking is that, so me, for instance, I don't know anybody. I mean, the person said, telling me I'm on ground zero. Ground zero. So tell me, in such a space, am I lost? Or are there any deliberate steps or tools that I can use to help start and build my social capital?
Let's talk about two worlds. The first world is maybe the physical world, where we are. And the second world is the digital world.
Okay.
So today, when we describe personalities, maybe let me just put the theories aside. Personalities we can split into two: who I am now and what I am online. That you might find individuals who are very shy, very quiet, but they have a loud voice on social media. Amazing individuals who might might have 200,000 people following them on their Twitter handle. You won't find more than 100 people on my Twitter handle. I'm so useless on Twitter. But in person, I can say the things that I want to say. So even if you feel that physically you don't have depth of people available at your disposal, do you have good capital online? Because at the end of the day, look, I saw an individual standing by the roadside holding a placard saying, I'm an engineering student and I need a job.
Wow.
And that content has probably been seen by over 2 million people. And I'm sure the person has a job now.
Wow.
I could leave here today and say, look, I need a job that could pay me, let's say, $10,000 a month. Say I put it on LinkedIn. And I say to no more, read my profile or call my number. Now, I'm hoping somebody will chance on it and say, I've been meaning to work with Jesse for a long time. This is my opportunity. So if physically interacting with people is difficult, answer the question, is it easy for you to connect online? If it is, reach out to people. I chat to people all the time. And because of my desperation at some point to find connections, I try to respond to messages online a lot. Because you don't know who needs help.
Okay.
So I always respond. Number 2, let's talk physical. I think everybody has somebody in view. The person might not be in your social capital. But at the end of the day, if you're a member of a church, or you live in a community, or you went to school with somebody, reach out. See, there's no point, you're not an island on your own.
You're not an island on your own.
I mean, even Ghana, if we strip all countries aside, we can't do anything without trading with another country.
Yeah.
So you've got to engage. You've got to show up.
Yeah.
And if you can't engage, the point to be show up. So if your church has a program, show up. Your community has a program, show up. Smile. And for many of the guys who say, I don't know what to do, it's easier for them to smile at a girl and take a number and chat the whole night. But to take the number
This particular person was a guy.
But to simply just say, Charlie, Boss J, what's up? A, B, C, D, it becomes a difficult.
Yeah.
Reach out. If you want somebody to talk to, just go to my social media handles and send me a message. Just say hi.
Just say hi to Jesse and just say hi to me too, and now we'll chat beautifully. What should they, or what should such a person consider when connecting with such people? Should it be people who look like or think like the person, or should it be somebody who can help them, or what should they consider?
So first, you're tapping into a consideration set.
Okay.
Before you tap into the consideration set, you need to determine what you need.
Okay.
So if what I need is a job, the consideration set is somebody who can help me
The
get a job.
position to, yeah.
If what I'm looking for is school fees, then I need to then access those who are in the position to help me. So I think for me, the person you connect to should largely be dependent on what your need is. Because look, not everybody will show up for you. We're talking about social connectivity. I remember there's a story online today about a lady, a TikToker, millions of followers, organized a meet and greet and nobody shows up. Not even one person showed up.
How possible?
Not even one. So not your social connect won't always show up for you. And some people would ask me why. And I say they also have their own problems. So the fact that the guy is driving Mercedes-Benz by your side doesn't mean that he doesn't have a $2 million debt. Or his child is not sick in the hospital. That his mind is not there. So sometimes your capital will not show up for you. And it's not because the capital hates you. It's not because your connection hates you per se. It's probably because the particular time, it's a bad time. So make room for that also.
Yeah.
That's just my view.
Okay. So I think one of the people you can easily tap into would be a mentor.
Yes, of course.
So how can we, grow such relationships, and what kind of practical tips can you share about approaching more people, more accomplished people to kind of play a mentoring role for you?
I always say this, that every time you're watching TV, there's an opportunity being played out.
An
Or
opportunity.
every time you're in church and an announcement is happening, there's an opportunity being played out. Every time you're on social media and you see somebody saying that I want something, it's an opportunity for you to supply. The world is full of opportunities.
Okay.
Opportunity to do things. Now, first of all, you need to start your journey understanding what you're looking for. If you are in a stage in your life where you're looking for a job, before you start the connection, at least put your CV together. Find somebody who knows how to put a CV together. Find a sample CV online. Download it. If you want, keep the English as it is. And change the names. Put your name there. Make sure you change the school they've gone to. But leave the English there and at least have a CV. Number 2, I used to say to people that even if you don't have a job, have a call card. Put your name and number on it. And when you go to church, say to the person you see that if you need something, please let me know. Call me. I can help. See, I used to have a card like that, and it didn't have a company name. Even at this stage where I work for an institution, I also have a personal card, because not everybody wants to speak to me based on where I work. So just share your card. It's just a card. If you need something, the person might say, oh, like what? You want someone to drive you next week? I'm available. You want someone to help you with accounting? I'm available. Give the cards out. One day somebody would call you. If the church says we're doing a charity work here, don't look at the headline. Break it down. The charity work means they need to do budget.
Yeah.
They need to clean. They need to find volunteers. So forget what the pastor says, the big picture. No, you break it down.
And then you go and say, this is where I can
can't
play my
fit
role.
into that. Yeah. Because we get lost in the big picture of things.
And we don't realize that sometimes just coming and saying,
small
just even, just a screwdriver that you put in there.
Yes.
Somebody sees the way you're doing and say, Charlie, sweetheart.
That's it.
I think I like the way you do your job.
In a brand circle, there's a funnel that brands go through. Somebody would say, I'm aware of Jesse. Being aware of Jesse is important.
Yeah.
Second question is, would I consider Jesse amongst others?
Yeah.
So I know 400 individuals, including Jesse. Now of the 400, I need people who are marketing people.
Yeah.
Oh, you narrow it down to 20. It means Jesse could be considered.
Yeah.
When it comes to people who do brands and marketing stuff. From there, which of them do I think might be fit for my purpose? I'll cut down to about 10. Then when I cut down to about 10, I now need to select the person that I would work with. So again, your social network being aware of you means nothing if you won't be considered for help or somebody reaching out to you. It's very important. So of course, be visible, but you need to be able to add value to yourself to a point where individuals are willing to consider you for one thing or the other. Because today, I might be aware of 1,000 people in my life. But if I'm looking for one graphic designer, not all of them are graphic designers. I have to know who I'm looking for.
Yeah, I have to know who is looking for me. Well, Nana says that I've seen brands and companies collapse on social media.
Yes.
What are your key takeaways to building a viable social media network? And this kind of follows on the example that you gave about the TikToker whose social media network did not show up. How can you build one that the network that really connects together?
So before I answer that, there's an example that's really, really crazy. So sometimes people build social media platforms for brands. So I'll give you an example. And it might be a weird example. So I say I pick a lady's photo, maybe a very suggestive photo, and I create an account in her name. And I know boys like that. So I create an account and they come to click, like, and I'm sharing photos, bad photos every day. Suddenly I have 100,000 followers on that account. Then I go to a brand, like say brand Jesse. And I say to brand Jesse that, oh, I've got a social media, I've got an account you can buy into instead of building your own momentum in social media. It has 100,000 people following the page. Really? I say, yes. I have another 50,000 on Twitter. Really? Yes. But what I didn't know was that the baseline for building that followership was sensuality and sexuality.
Yeah.
So in buying the accounts, they would then clean all the content they posted from beginning to date. And people do that a lot.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it happens a lot. So now they bring it to me, vegging account, 100,000 followers.
And then you add your brand to it.
Then I build my brand upon it.
No way.
The interest of the people that are following me, the 100,000, it's about proclivities, sexual in nature and things like that.
Yeah.
So there's a disconnect between the content I'm giving them now and why they came there. Your brand relationship will suffer. Number 2, a brand is a promise fulfilled. So if Coca-Cola says as an example that, look, you will be refreshed if you drink me, every time I drink my Coke, it must be refreshing.
One touch.
So the day it stops refreshing you, you would stop drinking it. So for brands to be consistently relevant online, they have to satisfy the promise they make. The only problem is this, that consumer needs keep on changing. So brands need to evolve as consumers are changing.
Okay.
And so if you're not evolving as fast as the consumer, you also lose out. So these are the 3 things that I would say. First is be careful who's following you.
Yeah.
And if your baseline for your asset acquisition online is wrong, you're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
And number 2, when your brand makes a promise, fulfill it. If you say you deliver something in 10 minutes, deliver in 10 minutes. Or apologize. Be very customer-centric in the things you're doing. And 3, understand that the consumer is changing consistently.
And therefore,
so if your brand is otim, not evolving, and not all brands have changed necessarily.
No, but I mean, like grow with your consumer.
You have to grow. There's an example that people always give about a Big Pen, and they say Big hasn't changed since. What I say is that if your idea of a brand change is the look of the brand, then you're wrong. Because brands also change with availability, promotions, pricing, CSR activity.
Or even the quality that they put in the.
So even the pen itself might be the same, but the ink quality may have changed.
Yeah. As we are wrapping up, I once listened to Nido Kuben, one of the greatest American speakers on the American circuit, and he says that he has this habit of he has a 160 list of people that he calls every single month. Will it be something that you would also recommend for any of those who are listening to us today? How do we continually connect to our social capital to ensure that we are able to keep it and maintain it well?
I think it's a very interesting model. Maybe it's one that I'm unable to do 165, but I think that worst case scenario, there might be 10, 15 people you connect with at least once a month, or even once a quarter.
Okay.
I think it's a model to adopt.
So you learned that here and you're going to do it?
No, I'm learning that now. But I think that even from where I sit, it's possible that I might be doing just about 10 individuals who I might be calling and reaching out to. But maybe I haven't made it very spiritual, or I haven't made it very like a rule.
Yeah.
It might be interesting. I think I'll adopt that.
You adopt it. Okay.
Yeah.
So let us know later what happens there. So Jesse, as we wrap up this very interesting conversation on building our social capital, what 2 things would you like to leave with our audience today?
1, do not be afraid of no.
Do not be afraid of no.
No, there's nothing wrong with no. And 2, don't expect the circle to always show up for you. I think that we are afraid of embarrassment, that we don't know how to reach out to ask. And so there are people who know people a lot, but they don't even know that the people they know may have needs they can satisfy. And they are embarrassed to hear no. And I think it's one of the biggest lessons that we on this side, and I mean Ghanaians, we're very shy people sometimes, the bulk of us. Don't be afraid to hear no. Once you find yourself in that circle, reach out. And also don't expect them to show up. Doesn't matter. If they don't show up, keep changing yourself, find new circles, expand yourself. but keep going and keep going and keep going. If you have doubt, read a KFC story.
Keep going, and keep going. Those are the final words of Jesse Agyepong here on the Springboard Hangout, where we discussed building your social capital. Well, it has been a very exciting conversation, and today we've come to an end. During the weekend on Sunday at 5 p.m., this program will show on ETV. So until we come your way again next week, remember, you are loved, you are special, build your social capital, and most importantly, have fun in your life. My name is Comfort Okra, and I love you.
Turn around. Turning point, yeah. He's a